Sometimes there's a debate of when the best time to run is. Sometimes it's the morning, sometimes maybe at the end of the day. It just kind of all depends on each of us runners, right? But for me, I just find if I get out early in the morning, I can get it in through the course of the day, and then it really doesn't matter because I've already got it done. But there's a lot of times where that doesn't happen. And that's busy season right now. But I do my best to make it out on the trail. And this year, being out on the trail has its challenges. Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of trees down. There's a lot of things going on in my neck of the woods. But I don't let it stop me. You know, I get out there, I do the thing I know I need to do. Sometimes we don't always kind of have it all clued in as to how the day's going to unfold, how it's going to work. But what I can say with my story, because my story is, I don't know if it's like you, but I find that I have a lot of ups and downs. Right? There are times where I keep the weight off. There's times where the weight kind of bounces back. There's times where I lose motivation. There's times where I just kind of get stuck. I don't know, I get paralyzed. I just deer in the headlights and I can't actually just do the thing I know I need to do. Procrastination kicks in pretty large. I come up with excuses of why I shouldn't go out and run today and blah, blah, blah. All these crazy excuses, but for me, I have to make sure that I'm looking after my mental health because I know how amazing I feel after a run. But the one thing that you may not know, and you may not know that running helps the brain. Running is just as good as doing crossword puzzles, but in a different way. It helps reshape the plasticity of your brain cells. And for me, for someone who doesn't like doing crossword puzzles, I would rather just go out and run. It just brings more oxygen to the brain. It helps flush out a lot of toxins that build up in our body. It just gets the blood moving and flowing, and movement is health. And if you're sitting in one spot, you're resting in place. And I find that a lot of runners, or a lot of people, before they become runners, that's where they tend to be, resting in place, waiting for something to happen in their life, waiting for a diagnosis of, here you are, you're 50 years old, and you've got all these kind of ailments going on. And you need to be put on blood pressure medication. You need to lose, maybe 100 pounds. You need to, whatever the pill, whatever the medication. The one thing I can say is I've been very, very, very lucky. And I've run myself out of those situations. It hit a point where I did have high blood pressure. And I know I had to do something. And my doctor was going to put me on blood pressure medication. And I looked at her and I went, I think I can do this. I think I can get out of my predicament. And so I started on this lifelong path of the last 9 years of working my way out of that situation. I mean, I went back a year later and my doctor had no idea who I was. She was like, David, is that you? I was sitting in the waiting room and she passed by me and she's like, I didn't recognize you. So my blood pressure was 169, 170, something like that, over 110. That was crazy high. Maybe not as high as a lot of other people, but it was high for me, extremely high. And again, it was the medication that's kind of scared me because I didn't want to be put on it. I'm not saying that medication is not a good thing. Medication is a very good thing when you need it. I knew that I could change my lifestyle. I knew I could change my habit of eating. I knew I could change my habit of moving. I knew I could do a lot of those things. I just needed the diagnosis to scare me into action. But the problem then is, what keeps you moving, right? Because once the diagnosis goes away, what do you got left? What keeps you moving so you don't get sick and rust? And that's where your why comes into place. And my why had to be big enough to endure any time I say, how am I going to do this? Had to be bigger than that. And over time, it's allowed me to think differently. It's allowed me to be healthy. It's allowed me to keep the weight off, as much as I complain that I do have some weight to lose. And I do. It's like everybody kind of bounces through the seasons. But, taking the time off for a little bit allows you to think a little differently, allows you to reflect on kind of your current situation of where you are. And where I am is in a pretty darn good spot. I mean, I went out for a hike the other day. You probably saw the video. And all these trees were down. It was crazy. It was awesome. But you know what? After that hike, I didn't feel it when I woke up this morning. I literally just felt great. I just was like, all right, this is awesome. And off I went on my day. So when you are consistent enough, once you have the why, you can endure anything, right? You can do it. And this is the amazing thing, is we don't need to have like a sad story. We don't, right? Like for me, I say all of this to like motivate you to get out and do the thing that you love to do. Whether it's doing yoga, whether it's walking, whether it's hiking, whether it's running. Look, I know there's a number of you who have said like, why don't you just hike and walk, Dave? I do. But I also really, really love the act of running. There's something primal about that. Just getting out and running through a forest. There's something different about that than running on the roads. And so this year, there's going to be a lot of trail running. There's probably going to be a lot of getting lost in the woods. There's going to be a lot of that happening on this channel, because I am striving to be better, striving to lose weight, striving to get the mojo kind of in the position of proper training. That's the goal. So whether you want to be on that journey with me and follow along, look, maybe you like the video, maybe comment below, maybe subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It really does mean a lot to me. I've been doing this for a number of years, and the YouTube is a funny thing, right? I get a lot of people that subscribe, they start liking, they start watching, and then I throw out a couple of personal videos, and then all of a sudden, people kind of disappear a little bit. So, it's all kind of different. So I do try to put out heart rate training. I do try to put out motivational videos. I just try to do what I like to do to help other people get motivated in changing their lives and trying to be a better version of themselves, while also throwing in daily life, throwing in the daily struggles, throwing in, challenges that I face. That's just me. That's just my reality, and that's what I like to share. And if you're game for that, cool, follow along. I do appreciate it. It's a pretty awesome, wicked ride. And so today I am in this amazing place called Ignis Falls, just outside of Owen Sound. And I just want to share some of the video clips I've got on this place, because honestly, it's pretty epic, especially this time of year with all the snow melt, because there's a lot of snow that came down this year. And this is just the result of what it looks like in the springtime. So like I always say, get out and run. What do you think of the waterfall?